Okay. And we're on in 3, 2, 1. And thank you for tuning in to Bridge to Podcast, episode 5. This week is Thanksgiving, so first off, happy Thanksgiving to everybody watching. I am grateful for the First Amendment, right? The freedom of speech and the ability to have an outlet such as this. And I'm going to do my best to use it wisely. That's all I could say. So on the topic of Thanksgiving, I do want to briefly mention something that happened on Thanksgiving in 2017. I've said before that I believe we shouldn't be so far to one side that we will dismiss a situation or, see information that doesn't sit right with us or that should be questioned without at least asking a question or two. Now, Trump being a great president aside, it's a little weird that, it was just shown that Epstein had sent an email in 2017, Thanksgiving Day, that he was at Mar-a-Lago, or he replied, more specifically, he replied that where he was, Trump would be, or Trump would be where he was. And we know Trump was at Mar-a-Lago, his first year in the White House for Thanksgiving. And it's reported that Trump stopped associating with him as early as 2007. So, something doesn't line up there. At least as reported by CNBC and ABC News, Trump stopped associating with Epstein as early as 2007. Yet sent an email on Thanksgiving Day in 2017 saying Trump will be where he is. Let's see, I have there's the picture. This was shared by Sean Casten. He is a Democrat congressman for, I believe, Illinois District 6. And then I have a close-up. Now, let it be known, this was released amongst 26,000 other documents pertaining to the Epstein case. So it does go to show that, this is the only thing that mentioned Trump whatsoever. So, that holds some weight. Out of 26,000 things, this is all they had against Trump. But no matter how you cut the cake, it's weird, Yeah. No matter how you try to explain it, it's just, it's a little odd. No? What? That's just me, But then again, here Trump's just signed the Epstein Transparency Act. So I guess we'll see. Time will tell. Clock's ticking. It's up to the Department of Justice now. They have 30 days. So we'll keep our eye on the situation. And, for the record, I'm not saying that Trump was at the table with Jeffrey Epstein on Thanksgiving Day or anything. There's no record that, shows that. Or there's also, well, at the same time, there's no record that shows who Trump was with that day. But it doesn't help. But I think it more just shows that maybe he was a little dishonest as to when he stopped associating with him, or maybe it shows that he didn't know he was at Mar-a-Lago, which, Trump wouldn't want to admit that either, that he didn't know. Jeffrey, who he claimed to have barred from all his properties, was at his property on Thanksgiving Day while Trump was in office. So that doesn't seem super likely either. But like I said, clock's ticking. We'll see, and we'll keep an eye out. It almost concerns me, though, if, say it does come out that Trump's all over, or 50% of our politicians, or whatever it is. Are we going to do anything about it? Say all the best politicians on both sides of the aisle are tied up in this thing. It is the biggest blackmail ring in history. What are we going to do? People already disregard proven facts if it contradicts what they believe or what they voted for. And that goes on both sides. You know, I see a lot of Christians disregarding Christian values, with some beliefs they hold. You know, where we're allowed to hate Muslims. You know, we don't want to look at if ICE is, you know, going after nonviolent, hardworking people. I don't know about you guys, but I voted to get all the criminals that came in under the Biden administration out. You know, when the Biden admin was sleeping at the border and let millions, you know, more undocumented people than any other administration in history, when they all came through, I voted to get those people out. That's who ICE should be focusing on, you know, not Pablo, who's been here for 16 years, ever since he was 7, and he's worked for the same small business for the last 10. You know, and then you have, the people who are defending how much we give to Israel. Meanwhile, you have millions of Christians over the years killed in Nigeria. Supposedly, you could see the blood from Google satellite. You know, I saw that video of I talked about it on one of the episodes with Sebastian and James, the video of the Nigerian pastor pleading, and he's talking right to America. He's talking to us as American citizens. He's saying, you know, I know you see this. He calls out the UN. He says, I know you see this. Help us. He's standing over a congregation of dead people, children. He's got bodies on. Standing in a hole. Think about that. Imagine your pastor, and imagine him standing in a hole filled with his dead congregation. It's just, it's gut-wrenching. It's unreal. And at the same time that video came out, the other videos that were on my feed were videos of Trump, you know, bragging about how many weapons he got for Bibi and how well he used them. You know, here, wait.
I mean, Bibi would call me so many times, can you get me this weapon, that weapon, that weapon? Some of them I never heard of, Bibi, and I made them. But we'd get them here, wouldn't we? And they are the best. They are the best. But you used them well. It also takes people that know how to use them. And you obviously used them very well. But so many that Israel became strong and powerful, which ultimately led to peace. I mean, Bibi would call me so many times, can you get me this weapon, that weapon, that weapon? Some of them I never heard of, Bibi, and I made them.
You know? It's like, that's what we're focusing on. But, yeah, that was Trump talking to the Israeli parliament. But back to topic, you know, what if it really is the world's largest blackmail ring and all our politicians are caught up? Are we going to do what they just did in Mexico City in protest of Claudia Sheinbaum, the first Jewish president of Mexico? Hang on, I got one for that too. Mexico City. About a week and a half ago, I think on the 15th of November. The president has been in office for about a year. Now, we all know it's no secret Mexico has a cartel government, and it looks like the people are sick of it. They're fed up. That's supposedly 120 people injured, 100 of them police, 40 hospitalizations, 20 arrests. They're sick of the corruption. They're sick of the cartel government. I just wonder, would we be sick enough of our pedophile blackmail government to do anything about it? We all fall short of Christ. You know, a friend of mine who's a cop in the neighboring town that I grew up in is He once said when he first joined the force, he said, a lot of cops, they sign up, they join the force hoping that they're going to be the one that changes the system. And almost every time, like clockwork, the system changes them. I do think Trump had the best intentions when he decided to run. And I think he's done a great job. I think he's done really great things for this country. But if the system he entered is corrupt, how much can he really do? We can't idolize a man. We all fall short. If the system is corrupt, then any man, no matter how good, can he really fix things? The government wouldn't let us revolt anyway, like Mexico City. Not without trying to distract us at least. Three Eye Atlas is perfectly in line. Just in time for the Epstein Transparency Act to kick in. Jeez. We all know the government's been doing soft disclosure for the last few years with the whole UAP thing at Congress a couple years back, or, around the whole COVID thing. Thanks to people like Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, who's the journalist who broke the whole Bob Lazar story with the Area 51. If you don't know about that, you should check out that episode of Joe Rogan. Definitely a good one. They discredited him to no end. I believe we've been so lied to by our government, it's not even funny. From vaccines are safe, the U.S. government was responsible for the Tuskegee syphilis experiments. That's who we're trusting with our well-being and our health. People say vaccines, raised our life expectancy. But what about antibiotics? That have anything to do with it? Or modern sewage? But, we're lied to. JFK assassination, 9/11. We don't have to get down the rabbit hole here. But the whole Charlie Kirk situation. Charlie believed in asking questions in the name of freedom. And it got him killed. But it makes me sick to my stomach to see people who claim to support him go right back to blindly trusting the government. The whole situation surrounding Charlie, it stinks. It smells. It reeks, okay? Charlie died questioning the U.S.'s involvement in Israel, and then Ben Shapiro takes a seat on his show, and I start getting Turning Point ads on my phone on Instagram about Holocaust documentaries. Come on. Are you kidding me? And then there's 9/11. I know I said I wouldn't get down the rabbit hole, but, do yourself a favor. If you've never done it before, look into all the controversies surrounding 9/11. All right? Some of them will blow your mind, some of that stuff. Confirmed stuff. Federal documents confirming. I'm not getting into it. You do it. You do the research. We'll talk about it another time. But please, 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 don't be the kind of person that just dismisses this stuff. That just says, no, that's crazy. Or, I don't want to sound crazy. Sometimes we got to say the quiet part out loud. We do a disservice to ourselves when we don't tell other people how we want to be treated, right? On a smaller scale. So on a larger scale, we have to, we have to speak up. Our opinions matter, It's okay to sound crazy. We can't be gaslit into doing nothing. We know that the term conspiracy theory was coined to dismiss JFK theories. But we're coming to a new day and age, and I truly believe that we're entering an information war, if you will. And we really gotta do our due diligence when it comes to vetting, what we believe, the narratives that we take in. On both sides, man, both sides. I've kind of been reluctant to weigh in on Israel. and how I feel about AIPAC as a foreign lobby. And somebody said to me the other day, "Oh yeah, the far left and the far right they're all worried about Israel. We should worry about the real problems." And it made me think, well, if the far left and the far right, the two extremes of both sides, are both worried about one thing, that should mean something. We should take note of that, no? That's just me, man. Like I said, I think we've been lied to. I think history has been fabricated, if you will. We're going to be doomed to repeat it if we don't make a point to, remember it, for lack of a better word. I'm sorry, guys, I'm tired. But this is important to me. And to the few people in the DMs who I know this is important to them too, they're for the movement. Thank you. I'm only going to keep this going as long as I see, I'll keep giving in what I get back from it. It's important to me, but at the end of the day, it can't just be me. It needs to be bigger than me. I'm tired. I have a young son, just turned 1 year old. I have a business, multiple businesses. I spread myself thin. This whole Bridge thing is supposed to be a movement. Bridge podcast, that's just one section of it. Bridge, the idea, to bring Republicans, Independents, and Democrats to greater elevations. It's a movement. And I just want to play my part in this information war that I just claimed I believe is coming. And this information war is between forces of good and evil. And like I said, I'm just trying to do my part, and you all should too. Don't be afraid to say the quiet part out loud sometimes. As long as you bring the receipts and you operate on the side of light, darkness can't touch you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanks for watching Bridge Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Bridge.American or Twitter at Bridge_America and YouTube Bridge.America. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm Zach Kahn. We'll see you next time.